I know that it's a hell of a show. I know that Nikki Klubin was like, wait, I don't actually like Steely Dan, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I was like, okay, with all the memes and everything, I just wanted to make sure that was clear before I came on. I'm not looking to rain on anybody's parade, of course.
Well,
of course,
you know
it's gonna be a
what?
good time.
This is just part of the show now, I've decided. Welcome, everyone, to the limited event Prestige podcast, picking up something good, Steely DANCEMBER, Part 2.
Origins.
Yeah, Origins, Part 2, The Reckoning.
Revengeance.
You've just met Mace, who is introducing himself to our special guest, CEO, President, benevolent ruler of Doom Trip Records, Zach Emerson. Welcome.
Hello, thank you.
I'm Nikki Flowers, by the way, but you knew that. Because...
I didn't.
Yeah, well, now you know.
You ever seen 50 First Dates? I have that thing.
You have one of those.
Anyway, my name is Mace. I play music as Echo Vessel. I don't know if I cut the part before or not, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. And you're a hypochondriac, but only for things that Adam Sandler has been afflicted upon him in movies. Yeah, a couple months ago, you thought you had the click remote, and I had to be like, no, you just don't.
I have quote-unquote uncut gems disease. I'll get back to you on what that means.
Oh, no. As far as I'm concerned with that movie, I mean, as far as I could tell, that's terminal. I'm so sorry. Zach, you mentioned memes in the part that Mace didn't cut out, because it's crucial now to the flow of the conversation. You got me into Steely Dan, which is why I have you on here. Why don't you tell the audience why you're at fault for me being into this band?
Well, I would actually have to turn that around real quick, and I need to know the story of, do you have a specific post in mind that you remember, piquing your interest? How the hell did that happen?
Yeah, no, I know. That is a fair question. Okay. This isn't gotcha journalism. I'll prove my good faith by answering your question.
It's not gaucho journalism?
It's not gaucho journalism.
Oh my God.
Fuck off with that. You might have...
You've coined a horrible new phrase here today.
Oh, fuck. Okay, well, I was trying to find you post a lot of memes, Zach.
I haven't noticed.
Yeah, I hate to be, it's weird to, call out someone's good meme posting skills without sounding like Elon fucking Musk now, but, I mean, you do good memes. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So, I was trying to find, through your vast library, it had to have been Asia, because I remember that was the first album I checked out. So it must have been something about Asia and Gaucho, which seem to be the two albums that you memed the most.
Those are memeable. Are we talking, is this 6 months ago, a few years ago?
Oh, man. I want to say within the year.
Okay.
I feel like you've posted Steely Dan memes within the last year. I feel like I'm grilling you like this is an interrogation. When was the last time you posted a Steely Dan meme?
I probably am able to get one out there at least once a month, if not more often.
Oh, so meeting deliverables, yeah.
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 I have a quota I need to meet each month, and usually it's one.
Yeah, listen, running a record label, it's tough work.
Yeah.
It is more work than I would have ever expected before getting into it. I will say that, but, one of the first things they tell you when you're trying to start one is you need to be able to produce and post Steely Dan memes. It's a requirement of anyone who runs one. You're not going to get very far in that business without doing so.
Yeah.
So that's why we haven't. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't just, there was a point. This is also a music industry podcast. There are executives listening, trying to get the next
talk
scoop.
To me. This is honestly fascinating to me. So you're saying you saw a meme, you saw a post, you either saw people reacting to it or you laughed or something, and then you said, well, I got to hear this band.
Yeah, well, so, it's not like I never heard of them before, of just Steely Dan. Right. Is that this meme band that Zach invented? But it was definitely the final straw.
Okay.
It must have been I don't know if I could point to one post. It must have been a culmination. Okay. You're one a month daily, the metrics you have to meet. I've worked a sales
Yeah.
job. I know what it's like. You got numbers.
I kind of wanted to back up real quick here. So you're relatively new to them, so I'm sure their discography is still kind of like fresh to you.
Yeah.
Now, Maze, where are you in terms of like how long have you enjoyed them?
I am wading through this with Nikki. I used to confuse Steely Dan for REO Speedwagon.
Oh, I'm sure their fans would love to hear that.
Oh yeah, no, I think we did mention the first episode of this of like longtime fans are not going to be. I don't think we're going to be. I don't know what they would get out of this, but we have fun.
Okay. So this is a little bit more geared toward people getting into them recently.
Yeah,
Yes.
Similar to
Okay.
our first arc where I hadn't listened to Radiohead before. I'm getting into all the big bands that people talk about lately.
Well, I mean, those are the big two: Radiohead and Steely Dan.
Right.
Those are the only two bands.
Yeah.
That's what they mean by the
Anything
Fab
music.
Four.
Which
Well,
way, Western man?
One thing, I don't know what any of that means. One thing I do want to say, and I want to make sure to get on the record for anyone who hears this, is that I am not a hater when it comes to music or anything, but with Steely Dan, there is something else happening. There is a phenomenon that is baffling to me.
Yeah.
I would say 99.9% of the time in life, anyone could tell me they like any band or artist, and I'm going to say, okay, what do I care? Everyone likes different things. That's just the way it is, and that's great. With Steely Dan, there's kind of this combination of things happening, and, Nikki told me to do some homework and listen to, Pretzel Logic and Katy Lied last night.
I'm so glad those are the two. Sorry to interrupt, but I'm so glad these are the two. We didn't plan for this to be the episode you came, but I was like, you gotta have you on at some point. This two albums, I'm very interested to hear your takes on these. Yeah, so you did your homework.
Well, we'll get into it, but what I wanted to just make sure everyone knows is that I'm not like the type of person to just like trash talk bands for fun all the time. Like obviously with memes and stuff, it's all in good fun, but like with Steely, there's a combination of things happening. Like, not only do people whose music tastes closely align with mine get super into them, but it's often people who are into heavily experimental and avant-garde music. And that combined with the fact that when I hear them, my complete natural reaction to hearing their music is to laugh. I'm not even like trying to be funny.
No, I know. I hear the sincerity in your voice, and I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
So, like a lot of people, when I was, a kid or whatever, I probably heard like Reelin' in the Years on the radio or Do It Again. And
so I actually did hear from someone someone did tell me that they were surprised that I liked Reelin' in the Years so much, because to them it's just classic rock station, can't play anything else to them.
You know what's so funny? We'll get back to that in a second, but I actually, out of all of their music, I do think that is a pretty decent song, which is another thing I will admit. But what I was leading to with like the fact that I had heard them when I was younger is that I had this specific experience. It was a little bit after college. I was driving around with a friend, and he puts this music on, and within literally seconds, I'm just laughing because I just hear these like bright horns and like just this hard piano that was just like
very piano
the speakers, and I just started laughing. And I turned to him and like I wasn't even trying to be mean, but I was like, "What the hell am I hearing right now? What is this?" And he's like, "This Steely Dan live CD, man." And
it's live. Okay, well,
I asked, I was like, "You like this? Like you're enjoying what you're hearing right now?" And so what I really want to emphasize is that I can hear all sorts of music that, even though I don't like it specifically, it makes sense to me why other people like it. So Neil Young is like one that I always go to. I don't like Neil Young. I don't own any Neil Young, but it makes sense to me when I hear Neil Young that people could get so interested in his music and so obsessed.
I actually would have to agree with you on Neil Young too. Nothing against him.
There you go.
Yeah. Nothing against him. I think he's a fabulous songwriter. Just nothing's ever clicked for me there.
I just said Pono-ass motherfucker.
Yeah.
The Killers too. Killers is a great example. It's like I don't like them, I don't own their stuff, but when I hear it, I go, okay, I get why people are into it.
Yeah, like
With
it makes
Steely
sense on like a on a surface level. You're just like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but with STEELY, I can't do that, and I keep going back to their material. People say you just haven't heard the right music by them or something, which,
That's just...
as a side note, has heavy energy of you just haven't smoked the right strain.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
that's you smoked indica, bro. You need to listen to Asia instead.
And so I think that the only reason I'd even want to come on and like talk about it is that I do find it genuinely baffling. I mean,
want to figure it out.
Like I said, yeah, like people who are into heavily experimental music defending what sounds to me like the cheesiest music I've ever heard in my life. So I just wanted to make sure that that was known going into it.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to hate. I'm not looking to
I
tell
jokingly
anybody
called
their
you
taste
a
in music
hater.
is bad.
But like, you know,
Okay.
and I will say, I'll do a little ad for you here while Doom Trip Records, good record label, varied set of albums
Absolutely
that you have.
wonderful
Thank
label.
you, yeah.
And so like it's definitely so you have a track record to back up your claim of you can listen to a ton of music and be like, yeah, I understand that. So to not understand Steely Dan, which like I showed my girlfriend, if we're talking about outsiders' opinions of Steely Dan real quick, I showed Everyone's Gone to the Movies, which is a song we'll definitely have to talk about later, to my girlfriend because I wanted to see her reaction to it. And I showed her a second song off of Katy Lied, and she said, they're kind of like a kid's band. And I said, what? What are you talking about? Like, I didn't understand what she meant. I wasn't offended. I was just like, what? She goes, not in the, lyrical sense, but, well, sometimes, these songs seem to be always about something. There seems to be always, like, a protagonist, very clear, and there's a moral, and the instrumentals, you expect it to hear, it seems like it would be next on the shelf next to Peter and the Wolf album. I was like, whoa, okay.
Oh my God.
And again, she didn't mean this in an insulting way, although I think she also did.
Right.
But yeah, this is a band that gets a lot of really interesting responses. Mace, have you shown, what are some outsiders' opinions? Because now you're on the inside looking out.
Yeah, I'm on the inside looking out. I'm in the Steely Dan inner circle. I know both Steely and Dan. I have not shown anybody Steely Dan because I'm afraid that they're going to laugh at me if I...
Well, and now Zach has proven that is a distinct possibility.
Exactly. I'm just like, I think the response I had to Steely Dan, like diving in for the first time last week, was like, hey, well, like I mentioned, I listen to Asia, but diving in last week, it was like, hey, nobody told me this was Steely Dan.
Yeah, the first two albums are very like, this isn't Gaucho at all. What the fuck?
I feel like somebody should have told me, like, I should have learned this in school that this was Steely Dan, but I didn't.
Someone should have told. What happened to No Child Left Behind?
But yeah, I've never shown anybody else Steely Dan, but everybody seems to like Steely Dan. Right. And, it's true that Zach, as a listener of completely just like inaccessible music all the time, it's weird that I'm into Steely Dan, right? That's just like, it's fucking bizarre.
I think there is a clear path from like weird experimental stuff to experimental jazz to smooth jazz fusion to rock jazz fusion to Steely Dan.
Yeah, Naked City and Reel It in the Ears are the same thing.
It's on a spectrum. I know, and like it does seem strange at first where you look at people who like, you listen to 100 Gex and you're sitting here tapping your toes to fucking Ricky Don't Lose That Number. How does that fit in? And well, I don't think 100 Gex fan. That might be a bad example.
Yeah.
Actually, Zach, do you like 100 Gex?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it's a sample size of 1. It seems like 100 Gex fans don't like Steely Dan. We'll have to do more research. But speaking of Ricky Don't Lose That Number, do you guys want to talk about Pretzel Logic?
Yeah, let's talk about Pretzel Logic.
Sweet. Let's talk about Pretzel Logic. So, Ricky Don't Lose That Number. Countdown to Ecstasy, the second album we talked about last week, didn't really... It was a little too weird for modern pop America.
That. Yeah, I'm pissed. Because that's a good album.
It ruled. And Ricky Don't Lose That Number is it's their big hit. Came back. It's like, Steely Dan still got it. And I don't I don't know.
The thing about Ricky Don't Lose That Number is I feel like this whole album is a lot of just fucking inside jokes. This is an album, start to finish, of things that I had to be at Bard College in the 70s to understand. And
or
it
just,
turns out,
a real music guy, they seem to be, there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff about music and musicians that it's just like, okay, Steely Dan, you're so cool about the things you do.
I had to either go to Bard College in the 70s or be Robert Christgau, and I'm like not trying to do either.
Was Christgau a fan?
Yeah, apparently.
I actually have a quote that I pulled up ahead of time that I got annoyed by with him. I was reading about it. Fuck. I have it. He said something about Pretzel Logic that annoyed me. He did like it. It was a positive review, but he said it in like a backhanded way.
As he does.
Yeah, what? Christgau? No, never.
I know. Can you believe that? Backhanded compliment from Christgau. He said, he found the record innovative, writing in Cream, quote, "The music can be called jazzy without implying an insult." Okay, what does that even mean? And Donald Fagen... that sounds like you're making it an insult by saying that, man. And Donald Fagen and Walter Becker are the real world's answer to Robert Hunter and Jerry Garcia.
What does that mean?
What are you... This is pot shots at Grateful Dead out of nowhere? What is that?
Literally just words.
Just
literally meaningless words.
The real world's answer to Jerry Garcia is Steely Dan. How did he have a job for that long doing what he did? Ugh.
Jerry Garcia exists in the fake shadow world, apparently. With Pretzel Logic, it was their last studio album right before they kind of took a hiatus, and thank God for that.
No, this was their this is their last studio album with their founding band, and it just became Steely and Dan.
Again, for the record, out of all of their music, I find Ricky Don't Lose That Number to be much more tolerable than the entire rest of this record, for sure.
Okay, so this is a highlight for you.
Yeah, and, thank God that they go ahead and open the album with it, because I feel like that was their way of saying, listen to this, if you don't make it through anything else...
Yeah, like, Zach, listen, we're not going to waste your time. Get right to, we know you're here for the hit, we don't blame you. I totally understand why it's a hit, too. Like, it's more straightforward pop than anything off the second album. Very smooth and easy to listen to. I can't deny that it's catchy, but it didn't grab me as much as something else on this album.
Yeah, and I just remembered, too, that isn't Do It Again the opening track from Can't Buy a Thrill?
Yes.
Yes.
God.
Yeah, so once again, they're just like, here, just take this if you don't, have time. Here's this one first.
Right. They really know how to open. Yeah, they know how to open an album with just like all right, too long didn't read. This is what we're doing this time. And if you're like, okay, cool. Thanks, Steely Dan. See you in like 7 months.
And I do think Ricky, it is an interesting opening track in the context of their career, especially since it was the big hit from the album, if I understand correctly. Right?
Oh, yeah. It's their biggest hit, by far, I think.
Oh, ever? Okay,
yeah, I think, I have the internet. We could... Nah, I don't feel like learning.
Nah.
I'm surprised that Reelin' in the Years, I guess maybe it's just growing up in California and all the classic rock radio stations playing it all the time that gave me the false sense of that being the bigger hit.
I also thought that was the case.
I looked it up. So Ricky Don't Lose That Number peaked at number 4 in the summer of 74, that does make it their most successful single. And Reelin' in the Years is a really close second.
Huh.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. No number 1 for Steely in their career?
No number 1. They got all the way up to 4.
Shucks.
Yeah. So you can't even call... There's no one-hit wonder there.
This song sounds like that one Yola Tango song. And that's my first... the first thing I noticed. The song from I'm Not Afraid of You and I Will Beat Your Ass. It sounds like Mr. Tough.
Oh.
I think I remember. That's for the Tango heads only. But
yeah, Tango heads only.
But yeah, I found out that Ricky's a Bard College person.
Oh, of course, they keep writing. When are they going to run out of guys and gals they met at Bard in the 60s? Come on.
Bad fucking news. They don't for the rest of the album. They don't run out.
This is their third album. They haven't run out. Oh, this is incredible.
Apparently Ricky was a teacher's wife that Steely was trying to get it in on.
Of course.
So yeah, so apparently she heard her name and Fagin's voice, and she was like, "Oh, that's me! I could have gotten it in." But no.
Wait, is that? Wow, was that an impression of her? That was like she was right there.
Yeah, that was exactly her. It's as if she had called in.
Incredible. Well, so Ricky is good.
Yeah, that's good.
Not gonna deny it. Night by Night. Those East Coast boys with the West Coast sound.
They got that West Coast sound.
They sometimes like to go back to the East Coast a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a funky. This is like they're very cinematic sometimes. I think that's what my girlfriend meant partially. Like this is for like this could be kids music because it's like especially the brass section on this album especially is just like bam right in your face, and it's right. Setting a very specific mood and placing you in like in a very specific setting,
which is a Steely Dan concert.
Yeah.
Which is a Steely Dan concert. Yes. I think this song is fine.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not the. I really don't have much to say about it because it's just after the high of Ricky Don't Lose That Number.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, this is.
It's a palate cleanser, and that is simply it. Zach, do you have anything about Night by Night, or else we can move on?
You know, I'm sorry. I really another way of putting it is that like with a lot of their music, I don't necessarily have a lot to say track by track. Rather, the big picture I can talk about with them more. Like, for example, the next. I assume we're moving on to the next track.
Oh, Major Dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, slightly more tolerable, but this track particularly, I think, is a really good example because it's another one that, like, early on people were telling me to check out as, like, you know, trust me, they have, like, non-radio hits or whatever that you can get into.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing it, and a good way of putting it, again, for them overall, not just this song or just this album, is that for a band that people will so violently defend and come out of the woodwork for and
so seriously
the replies about
so intensely,
the music is ultimately so underwhelming, so bland to me very often. You know, it doesn't mean it isn't performed well.
No,
it doesn't mean that they aren't good at their instruments, but I would argue, and especially this album I was listening to last night, and it really peaked with, we'll get into it in a minute, but it's fucking St. Louis Toodaloo, which
that
is
so good.
A track title that's hard for me to even say because it's so cringe.
It's so goofy. We'll get into it. I mean, there's a nice story behind it, but I do understand what you mean.
Right, but what you find with these is the music is rarely, if ever, adventurous or courageous or, you know, going outside of any bounds. It all stays very, very firmly, in my opinion, within a pretty small zone of, like, easy to listen to sounds. Nothing is challenging. Nothing is jarring or surprising ever. And I think with Any Major Dude, which again, I can specifically remember like someone telling me to type that, which, you know,
like that was like a seek this one out kind of track to them.
Yeah. And I just, I go, okay, you know, again,
don't know
not
that
the
it would be
worst
for
music
me.
I've ever heard in my life, but the idea that people are so defending this, in the greater context of the musical universe, again, baffling is the word for
It's
me.
weird. It's weird.
Well, so I would agree that the everyone feels very strongly about everything, and everyone should calm the fuck down, including and up to about Steely Dan. So I would agree there. I also would agree to send this on to other people because I like it. I think it's very. I was trying to put my finger on like what it is that. Because I'm trying to help you understand the other side, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Like, it's so fucking earnest. And I think, like, the first verse, I never seen you looking so bad, my funky one. You tell me that your super fine mind has come undone. Is so, like, I mean, yeah, this is 1974, man.
That's a new pet name, my funky one.
Yeah.
But wait a second. Backing up, though, you say they're earnest, but I thought their whole thing was that a lot of their lyrics were inside jokes.
No, a lot of it is very cynical, but this one felt more earnest than the other ones.
Okay.
I sort of just meant by this one. I think there's probably a little bit. I don't think they're going around saying, whoa, your super fine mind has come undone, my major dude. I don't think they're. I think they're putting. I think it's a little tongue in cheek, but I think it's less cynical than some of their other songs.
Okay, that's fair.
Like that's the other thing is I think there's a lot of like this song. It's very nice and sweet, and very like you said, it's doesn't really. It's not pushing any envelope. I think it's produced very well.
Yeah.
Like I would say that they were focusing these for 2 albums as super big picture. The 2 albums we're talking about today. I think they focused a little bit harder on production than songwriting.
Well, isn't that
sometimes.
their whole thing? Because I've always heard that that's like a big appeal for a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
I remember early on people be like, well, when they're testing sound systems, people will often use Asia because it's like the pinnacle of recorded sound.
Yeah,
and
some sound and some audiophiles insist on gold-plated 3.5 millimeter cables for their headphones. Like, like it's produced well, but like that's not like it's not like test. I mean, maybe I don't know. It just seems a little bit like okay, you're overstating it a little bit.
I think
I have heard that before though.
The phrase "any major dude" is such a fucking Steely Dan phrase. I feel like
really is.
Oh god,
that encapsulates. I think I hear any major dude, and I think the Big Lebowski, to be honest. And
he loves Steely Dan. Isn't he specifically looking for Steely Dan tapes when his car is stolen?
I believe so.
No, CCR.
Oh no, you're right. CCR.
But
that's a good band to confuse Steely Dan with, Mace. You should try that instead of REO Speedwagon.
Oh yeah, let me actually do that.
Yeah.
I am gonna go ahead and kind of state that Steely Dan as a genre, like I have had trouble placing it, explaining Steely Dan to everybody that I meet and see over the past week. I'm gonna go ahead and say that the genre Steely Dan resides in is major dude music.
Yeah, major dude music.
Accurate.
So good.
Accurate.
I like this song. I have been humming it. It's been stuck. It's one of the ones that gets stuck in my head. It's very simple and like sweet and like almost naive in a way that I like. But next up is Berrytown.
I don't know what the song's about.
What?
I don't know what the song's about. I think
you don't know?
I think it might be another fucking Bard piece of shit reference. I think it might be. It's either drugs or some guy's big dick. That's all I have to say.
Berrytown, really?
Yeah, like I can see from what you carry. That's like, are you packing?
Are you holding? Yeah.
Are you holding? Are you firing? Are you like? Is this like? Can I see your meat?
What
says Steely?
Whoa. Is this a "Can I see your meat" kind of song, Mace? Really?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't think so. Zach, what do you think about Berrytown? I know you don't go track by track, but.
Well, no, I mean, that's the thing is like, yes, every now and then there might be a track where I have something, specific to say about it. But again, kind of part of what is so baffling to me is that none of their individual songs tend to have a major impact on me. Like Berrytown, just like any major dude, I'll hear it. And again, it's not like the most offensive or unpleasant music I've ever heard. It's not like it's harsh or anything. It's quite the opposite of harsh.
It's quite
most
smooth.
Instances. Yeah, but I would just... So Doobie Brothers are a good example. They're another band that are like within Steely Dan's orbit, and I think there was even some crossover, like Michael McDonald doing vocals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But with Doobie, when I hear them, I go, okay, again, it's like Neil Young. It makes sense to me. It's catchy and it's bright and it's fun.
But there's something about Steely Dan that is just like, it's that Doobie Brothers have it and Steely Dan doesn't. So it can't be Jeff Skunk Baxter then.
Sense. Yeah, because the Doobies, they're very smooth. It's similar in the sort of like, their music doesn't sound exactly the same, but there are similarities. Or even, I mean,
they're cousin bands.
Yeah, some fans will hate this, but like I think there's even like some Billy Joel stuff that's vaguely adjacent to Steely Dan.
And stop the recording. What the fuck?
And the thing is, it like again, I hear it and it makes sense. So with Berrytown, I listened to it last night and my mind was pretty much blank. I'm like, it's it sounds,
It's right
it
there.
might be performed well, it might be recorded well, but there's nothing about it that breaks the mold.
There's like there's just a little je ne sais quoi that's just missing for you. I get that. I like the verses. I think it's kind of a simple song, and the bridge fucking sucks. I don't know how else to say it. It kind of ruins the song for me. So,
see, I love Steely Dan fans. I love the song. The bridge sucks. It's dog shit. I hate it.
but the verses were nice. So I don't skip it. But I'm like the bridge. I'm like, all right. Well, at least this is only like a couple bars. East St. Louis Toodaloo is the next track.
I do have something for this one. I'm glad.
I'm glad.
Right.
What do you got? Yeah, lay it on us.
I thought of there's a first of all, this is such a boring track to me. It's so cheesy to me. Just a big slice of cheddar cheese. But I was thinking about it. I don't know. There's probably a name for it, but you know that face, like the dad rock face, where someone like puckers up their lips and brings them closer to their nose. And squints their eyes, kind of like, ooh, like
no. I had a guitar playing friend in high school where I asked him one point, I was like point blank, like, why do you scrunch up your face like that? And he was just like, I don't know, I'm just get into it. And I'm like, shut up, that's not an answer.
Like Eric Clapton's guitar face.
Yes, exactly. And that's this whole band for me, but especially this song, because when I hear this song, I go, okay. There's nothing, like we said earlier, they're not pushing the envelope. They're not breaking the mold. This is just dads in a room wearing shirts and just playing guitars and just scrunching up their faces like, listen to us. It's masturbation. I'm sorry. This track, when I heard it last night, I was thinking this is pure audible masturbation.
I had a one sentence written about this song in my notes.
Let's hear it.
And I wrote it this morning. I had a bout of vertigo, and I was listening to East St. Louis Toodaloo. And the whole sentence that I wrote was, East St. Louis Toodaloo is a made-up song, period. That's not real, period. Showtune's ass song.
Okay, so you all had your
How about Zach on this one?
You all had your chuckles then, huh? You all got the knives out, huh?
And you said there's a story on this one, right?
Yeah, there is. This is a composition written by Duke Ellington in 1926. This was, and also his assistant, his musician Bubber Miley. It was recorded several times by Duke Ellington, one of the most famous and revered jazz musicians of all time. Various labels from 1926 and 1930. It was a hit in both 26 and 27. It was a main of examples of one of his early jungle music. He sort of had his own like style of jazz. And Steely Dan just
obliterated it.
Yeah, completely just ugh.
They wow, so disrespectful to East St. Louis Toodaloo. I don't want to be mean about it because I respect Duke Ellington and his contributions
but
to
this
the.
isn't Duke Ellington we're talking about, though. We're talking about the band.
No, I know.
Yeah, we're talking about Steely Dan.
No, Steely Dan's version is very like, guys, did we have to put this on the album? Like, I don't.
It's like one of those early Beastie Boys. No, Beach Boys albums, where they put like a weird instrumental track on there, and you're not sure if it's good or not. But a lot of people point to it like, this is the first time Brian Wilson ever got crazy.
Yeah, they really branched out here, and it's like, did they? Like, no, I like this probably fucking slapped in 1926, but this came out in 1974. It doesn't really fit with the rest of the songs.
You listen to it on the cylinder and you do the sock hop, I think.
Everything was a foxtrot back then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to be clear, I've heard a lot of Duke Ellington recordings, and they're all fantastic. I did not know that Steely decided to obliterate one of his compositions.
Yeah. No, my whole like, well, you guys disrespecting it. Well, turns out it was written in 1926. I bet you feel silly. No, I agree. I think they kind of, man, you guys didn't
Steely Dan had no business covering a song that was written before Mickey Mouse existed.
That's true. So, to finish up the story on East St. Louis Toodaloo, they recorded it in tribute. It's the only cover they ever put on one of their studio albums. That's how much they love Duke Ellington, and they wanted to send him a pressing to see what he thought of it. And while they were sending it to him, he died.
Oh my God.
Rest in peace, Duke Ellington. He never got to hear it.
I think God spared him.
Did he die because of it?
No one knows. Well, Parker's band follows it. This is another sort of tribute to yet another jazz guy. This is a reference to Charlie Parker, virtuoso saxophonist from the fucking 19 whatevers.
I love Charlie Parker, but also I thought that I never got the Parker reference. I got mad halfway through this album because I thought it was another Bard asshole.
It's a good guess at this point.
Bard name.
Yeah, Parker, yeah, some asshole named Parker at Bard has a band. And, oh yeah, we're all gonna dance with Parker's band. Shut up. This song the song exists and it's there.
Yeah.
Steely Dan fans, just checking in on you. How you feeling about all our reviews so far? Feeling good?
I'm sorry we're mad at it.
I know a lot of people like Pretzel Logic, but
it was really glowing the first episode, and
I
now
really
we're just...
liked the first two albums. That wasn't like just happy to do a podcast, and I was blinded, But I genuinely liked them. They were fun, but I don't know. Pretzel Logic is. There's parts I like, and there's parts I don't, and it's more on and off than the other two albums have been. Through with Buzz, I fucking love though.
Hey, this song's about Buzz Lightyear, right?
100%.
This song is about being through with Buzz.
My favorite part about Through with Buzz is that it's only 1 minute and 30 seconds long, so it was over very quickly.
It is so
you said you weren't
going to
be a hater. No, it's good.
Again, I would love to love this. It's like a puzzle. I told people this once. If everyone being into this band was eventually revealed to me as some type of I'm Michael Douglas in the game, and it's a big prank that everyone's in on, and they don't actually like Steely Dan, and it was all just a joke, I would believe that. If there was a grand reveal and everyone just said, "Aha, we were just joking. We're not actually that obsessed with this mildly milquetoast
these two guys
jazz band from the 70s." And I just, listening last night, man, the next track, the title track, I remember getting to it. I'm like, okay, I don't really remember how this one goes.
Yeah.
They named the album after it. Let me get to this. And not to skip over Through with Buzz, but I remember getting to it and once again just feeling have you ever gotten into a pool or a bath that was exactly your body temperature and you couldn't even feel it? You just knew you were in water, but you can't actually, it's having no effect on you. That's exactly what this title track did to me. I remember thinking,
wow, okay, interesting.
This is music. I hear it.
I recognize this as a set of tones and sounds set to rhythms, put on a recording in a studio. Yeah.
But again, now that I think about it, with these three songs in a row, Parker's Band, Through with Buzz, and Pretzel Logic, I once again remember thinking, for a band that is often considered to be the tightest musicians, and jazz, the word jazz is constantly thrown in there, and maybe their live shows are different, but the studio recordings really never had a guitar solo will come in, and there's nothing. It's not virtuoso level playing. It's not particularly out there. It's just kind of.
It's doing exactly what they need it to accomplish. Does that make sense?
More.
Yeah, so
yeah.
It's sort of and again, and I also am not being a hater because you guys listened to the first episode, I assume, the listeners at home. I mean, I love the first two albums, so shut up. Yeah. Don't email me. I like the band, but sometimes I noticed that Pretzel Logic was just a little bit too conventional sometimes. It's just, Zach, I gotta give you that a little bit. This album, this isn't the album I would share with someone who didn't think they pushed the envelope enough.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
this is not It would be Asia or Gaucho. Obviously.
This is NPC music.
Like, Through with Buzz, I know we're talking about Pretzel Logic and Through with Buzz kind of at the same time. Through with Buzz is kind of a short... I liked it. I liked how long it was because I think what it was experimenting with didn't warrant anything longer. That's not an insult. I liked that it knew how long it needed to be.
Right. I
liked the protagonist. It's another really good loser song.
Yes. There are plenty of loser songs.
Like, because the protagonist, he's through with Buzz on account of he takes all of his money, he's not very funny, and also he stole his girlfriend. And then at the end, after the protagonist has told us that Buzz stole his girlfriend, he goes, well, maybe he's a fairy. Man, that is just... First of all, problematic. Second of all, that's just so cope, man. He stole your girlfriend. Cope and seethe, buddy. Like, sorry that happened to you. Buzz does sound kind of like a dick, but you don't have to also be one.
This is me. Through with Buzz. I'm just gonna run through with Buzz real quick. Through with Buzz is basically what I thought about after I got out of when I finished watching the movie,
Lightyear.
The Disney Pixar film Lightyear on Disney Plus, streaming now.
Don't plug.
$10.99 a month.
Stop it.
DisneyPlus.com. And Pretzel Logic is I'm still trying to see the logic behind these pretzels here, because I have no idea
what the fuck he's talking about.
What he's talking about, what Pretzel Logic is. I came trying to find out what Pretzel Logic was.
I have the answer for you, and it actually kind of made me appreciate the song slightly more. This is also a really conventional song on the album. It, like, they get, like, Through with Buzz, I'm like, finally, they're going slightly weird jazzy with it. Just a little bit. And only for 1 minute and 30 seconds. And then Pretzel Logic is just like a little bit more like, well, we got number 4. We'd like number 1. This, according to this source that I can't pull up at the moment, and I'm scrolling and vamping. Where the fuck did it go? Anyway, okay, so I don't have the exact quote, but Donald Steely Fagan said that the lyrics were about time travel.
What?
Yeah.
Give me a fucking break.
Yeah,
what?
I wanted,
The Pretzel Logic song? Well, first of all, I was going to ask about that. Does that explain the whole minstrel show thing? Because that seems really out of left field to me.
You know what? Yeah, same. That was really weird.
Yeah, there's just like a couple, they keep doing this. They're going to keep doing this in this episode also, where they keep saying things where I'm like, hey, on, guys, you can't just move on from that. Hold on. Hold on, what did you say? You want to tour the Southland in a traveling minstrel show? What the
Yeah, now don't get me wrong, I understand in the context of their career that they were probably not being racist, but at the same time, I don't understand what it means.
I think I can't find, I had bookmarked, because I'm reading like a thing that compiled a bunch of their quotes, because I'm like, I need more Dan info. So I'm going to have to paraphrase some of this. But someone also mentioned that bit, the traveling minstrel show lyric, was kind of a sarcastic reference to them not really enjoying their previous tour in the South of America.
That's correct. I read that too.
So, I don't know. It's something.
Legitimately think that this album is a lot of, like, because I feel like the minstrel show is mentioned, like, more than once too. This album is basically like going to like a big family dinner and your uncle says something insane and moves on. And
and you're just kind of like, well, I mean, he's kind of funny sometimes, but what he says some stuff sometimes too.
Yeah, I mean, again, I understand that they are probably not racist people. I did not understand what they were saying with that, but if they were trying to make some deeper point, but it was lost on me for sure.
Yeah, it's not quite. I didn't quite. I read that thing about time travel, and I'm just like, all right, Steely, you don't have to. Whatever. With a gun, it's about a gun. That one is pretty clear.
Shocking.
It's specifically about guns. And
I'm
shooting
going
guns.
to assume, without looking at the Genius page, without looking at any stories, without looking at anything, I'm going to make the assumption, and Nikki, if you have any data on this, tell me if it's right or not.
Okay.
I am going to guess that it is about a time at Bard that Steely or Dan got held up at gunpoint for some weed or some money.
Wow, yeah, it was when they were held up for weed and money. No, I don't know. I have no clue. I kind of like that they tried to write a song for Fallout New Vegas before it even existed.
Yeah, it's very Western.
That's all I have to say about it.
This is the Bethesda game of Steely Dan albums, I think. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, it's a little bit like, boy, there's some interesting ideas here. I get that. And I get why other people would like this one. But, I just like the other one so much more. This is this upcoming song, Charlie Freak. Great name. That's a great name for a guy. This is another song that kind of fits with my GF's theory that this is a kid's band for dads. Where this song, Charlie Freak, is about a very This song, Charlie Freak, is about a very specific thing. It is about a drug addict who sells his one last possession, a gold ring, to get his last final fix, and that's the fix that kills him. And then the man who bought the ring comes and returns the ring to the dead man. Shut the fuck up. That's so stupid.
So it's like a shitty Gift of the Magi.
Yeah. And also the verses they're just it gets a little grating.
This album is the dad rock pacifier. A couple of months ago, I heard on another podcast that I listened to, Podcast The Ride, they were talking about Chuck E. Cheese. And they apparently early Chuck E. Cheese's had like a room for like parents, like one room for the moms, one room for the dads, and in the dad's room they would be playing like sports and they would have like chips and shit. Mm-hmm. This is the album version of that room, somewhere where your dad can go.
That's so good. This is the ball pit. This is the auditory ball pit for dads. It's so good.
Monkey and Your Soul.
I actually like this one. I've been trashing on the latter half of this record, but I kind of like this one.
This joins the pantheon of monkey-based songs of just greatness, alongside Five Little Monkeys Jumping on the Bed, and Everybody's Got Something to Hide Except Me and My Monkey. I think those were the only two monkey songs that existed before this.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is a similar thing where they mentioned with East St. Louis Toodaloo, where they're just like, well, it hasn't been recorded since 1930, and we like this song, so we'd like to hear it in, like, hi-fi, right? Which is like, okay, that's weird to put it on the album. It's a cool thing to do as a band, but, like, whatever. This is another one where they're like, you know what? There's just not enough monkey songs. We gotta fix that. I like it. It's catchy. This is another one that's been stuck in my head. So
yeah, I'm alright with it.
I'll give it to this one. Yeah. Overall, Pretzel Logic. It's hard to say sometimes. It's this is an album that is pointed to as like one of the big ones. Mm-hmm. And Mace, are you picking up something good with it?
No, I'm not.
No, I'm picking up something that like. You ever just leave a potato out for too long and it's got eyes and you're just like there's some good potato left, but you're like,
I think Skunk stinks on this one.
Yeah, there's a I don't know. Skunk didn't.
See, I love that I can get invited on a Steely Dan podcast and the hosts only enjoy the album slightly more than I do.
Well, this is the first album of the episode, and I will give it to I guess. The songs I like on this album were Ricky Don't Lose That Number, Any Major Dude to Tell Ya, I would have liked Berrytown if not for the fucking bridge, Through with Buzz, With a Gun, I'll give it to it because I kind of like Western kind of music lately. I've been getting to like old country, and Monkey in Your Soul. So that's 5 out of 11. That's not great, but those are good.
Not
those
exactly
are good songs.
A passing grade.
But
yeah.
But those songs I will put on my iPod probably. So I mean, I got some songs.
It's just 2 out of 11 for me. I'll download these 2 from Napster.
Okay, good. Well, that's Pretzel Logic. Sorry if you like it more than us and you're about to yell at us because of how strongly you feel. Refer to our previous conversation about how we're not haters and don't email us.
Even with Dan fans, I mean, this is probably not considered like the pinnacle of their work or anything, right?
I think this is...
I don't think so.
No, not... I don't think this is like a consensus top fave. This is that would goes to the ones that we are all thinking of. But this is like I'm a real Steely Dan fan. I like Pretzel Logic.
Oh,
like
God.
I get that kind of vibe from Dan fans that really
it's
like
saying
this
you're
one.
A big fan of Centipede Hurts, yeah.
It's like, okay,
Hey,
we get it.
17 Hz is a good album.
It is, but like also it.
Yeah, there's like a kind of guy who says that it's their favorite, so like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. So yeah, that is Pretzel Logic. I'm picking up something, And Zach, you don't have to do our little gimmick, but are you picking up something good?
No.
Okay, that's what I figured. That's fine. I appreciate your honesty.
The last thing I would say about this whole thing in my relationship with them is that I honestly wish I were into them. I love the idea of finding a new band who had like access to really good studios and equipment and has a nice, 4, 5, 6 album run of things. I love the idea of getting into a new band, and I think with Steely, for a while I did kind of keep thinking maybe I would hear one track or something that would kind of unlock it for me.
Yeah.
And, it just never happened. And, for the record, I'm definitely not alone here. Like, there are a lot of people who feel similar to me. And
there are dozens of us. Dozens!
Music writers
no, much more.
Who, I want to shout out Claire Biddles, Mark Masters, Mariana, from Bandcamp, all these people who have either replied or DM'd and said, hey, I'm right there with you. The Steely Dan thing does not make sense to me.
I did look through that thread. I'm tempted to, like, include it in, like, the description of the episode to be like, because this seems to be, like, the quote-unquote hater perspective episode. So, but I saw
Wait,
a lot
which thread?
Not the thread, but the various replies you were getting, because you were getting into it with like didn't it devolve into a discussion about Radiohead and the Beatles too? It got kind of.
Wait, what are we referencing?
Was that you? Was that no? I might be thinking of someone else on Twitter. That's embarrassing.
Wait, no. What? I'm not sure what we're talking about. Like a specific post or what?
Yeah, didn't you mentioned because you tweeted you were coming on the podcast, and didn't that lead to some discussion on your Twitter account?
Oh, sorry. I tell people when I get on that app, I just black out. And then later
no, that's fair.
I wake up and there's like 20 more posts. I think that was a different thread, but I think the spirit was the same. The idea that like Luke, as some people know him as Disaster Radio or Eyeliner, he is a huge Dan fan. I'm talking like he's got the CD box set, Japan import versions, everything like immaculate on his shelves, and just like, he loves them.
Oh, Mace, we gotta have Luke on. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not a big Beatles fan, and I think he was saying that he wondered if his feelings about the Beatles were similar to me and to Dan, but I think it was different reasons. And plus, like a lot of things, he ends up ultimately admitting that he likes some Beatles stuff too. So it's, with any music, there's any band, I should say, there's going to be good and bad stuff. But yeah. With Radiohead and the Beatles, like, to me, and again, I'm not trying to be a hater here, but like, I think to compare their discography to Steely Dan, who very, very firmly stayed within a certain zone of music, whereas like Radiohead has just obviously been all over and done all sorts of different approaches and styles. Dan, they stayed in their lane, and that's fine. When it works for people, it works well. But to compare the two is pretty funny to me because like it's apples and oranges,
Right, which is funny that you say that because we just got done reviewing all of Radiohead.
Oh, that's right. You know what? I did see you post.
Yeah, but no, but I think you're totally right. I think which is interesting that you say that because at the time, Steely Dan was seen as this like hugely innovative pop band. Like they are.
That's the part. That's again which contributes to the whole baffling nature of all of this to me.
That's the part you can't.
Innovation.
Yeah, you can't quite. Maybe it was a time and place thing. Maybe if you were there for it, maybe you would have gotten it. Maybe. You're too far removed. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
So much to think about when it comes to the Dan.
Much to consider.
I just love. I mean, I do appreciate that you're both like honest about your feelings on the album. I imagine some Dan fans are so obsessed they would never want to say anything less than like the highest praise for any of their music. So I do think it's cool that you're like, this particular album, not exactly top favorite for me.
Yeah,
we spent a whole episode trashing Phil Selway once.
Like the whole time, and it was a solo record. Like, he worked so hard on it, and we were so mean, but we had to be honest. So, you know, it's all about integrity in podcasting.
Yeah, I mean, you know, making fun of music, it's rarely the nice thing to do, but it's often the funny thing to do.
Yeah. And we figured Phil Selway, drummer, right? Of
I think
Radiohead, probably. I think he'd understand. I think he'd be fine with it. As much as I'd also think Steely Dan probably gets that they're not everyone's favorite.
Yeah,
I hope so.
true.
I don't. They don't strike me as a band that has any that has airs about them.
Well, I think they probably realized, because I read once that some of their live bookings were really difficult because, like, they were just so smooth and so soft that, like, they could not be booked with certain people because other bands would just, like, blow them out of the water on stage.
That would just be unfair.
Yeah, like, there needed to be, like, very specific bookings for them. And, like, if I understand correctly, like, they basically just stopped playing live at some point, right?
That is an interesting thing you should say that. It leads to my segue to our break, because I have a quote here from Donald Steely Fagan. From 1974, he says, quote, "We're a strange band, you know. The music is all wrong. We all sat around in our living room and came up with this way of playing. It's all very weird." Then there is the imminent breakup, quote, "We're about to break up," unquote. That's all ridiculous bull. We're more or less fairly stable now as the 5 humanoids that started this thing. He said that after Pretzel Logic came out, and Pretzel Logic was the final album in which those 5 humanoids were Steely Dan. After the break, we will be discussing their first album when it was just Steely and Dan and a bunch of really cool studio musicians. And also Denny, because they like Denny still.
Founder of Denny's.
Founder of Denny's. Zach, thank you so much for joining us for reviewing Pretzel Logic. I hope we gave you somewhat of an understanding of the Dan fan.
Or maybe less.
Or less.
I was going to say, I think I'm moving further away from it.
Well, mission failed. We didn't do it.
Yeah, but you know what? It adds to my whole journey, you know, with the band and just the whole phenomenon that I spoke of earlier, just the idea that, like, every other band or musical act in the world, it makes sense to me that people could be heavily into them or obsessed with them, except these guys right here. And I will continue on in my journey. You know, chances are, you know, mathematically, I'm going to get invited on several more Steely Dan podcasts. That's just statistics. That's what's probably going to happen. Yeah, statistically speaking, that's going to happen soon. And honestly, I think the funniest thing that could happen is that, like, when I am 68 years old, it just, like, clicks for me one day, and I go, yeah, I'm a major dude now. Now that I'm a major dude,
you're one of the major dudes. Yeah, soon you will be one of the major dudes. I believe in you. And you know what? My only advice to you going forward, just skip Pretzel Logic. Just listen to Asia. Whatever.
It's true. I mean, Asia is the better album. I will say that for sure. But no, thank you both for having me on. It was fun. I'm sorry I can't join you for the Katy Lied discussion, but
are you that sorry?
One thing I do want to say about Katy Lied before you even get into it, because I did listen to that one last night too, is from the lead vocal perspective, it seems like he's really struggling to get through every song, which makes 2 of us, by the way.
That's why it's so relatable. It's just like, yeah, man, I get it.
Jokes aside, again, for a band that is supposedly so technically proficient and everything, to have a vocalist, I mean, it sounds like a scratch track sometimes to me. It's amazing. But no, all the love to Steely Dan, all the love to all of your fans, your fandom, the dandom, whatever it is.
The fandom, that works, yeah. And all the love to you, Zach. Thank you so much. It's nice to actually get to this. Is the first time we've, like, talked, like, voice to voice.
Yeah.
We've been
true.
Twitter
we've been
mutuals for
online
forever.
friends for years. Yeah.
Do you have anything to plug before you go?
Actually, I do have a new album, a solo album of mine that's coming out next month. It's called Gaucho. It's a track-by-track cover of an album also called Gaucho. It's by a band called STEELY Dan. No, I nothing to plug, but I do. This was fun. I wish you both well on your Dan journey.
Jotaro! You're an utter fool. Just take a look at that girl.
Well, I want to play over here.
It might interest you to know that my Stan, the lovers, just went into that girl's ear. Now he's heading for her brain. You better not move, Jotaro! Here's what's about to happen. I'm gonna stab you in the back with this knife and make sure that you're never able to move again! Attack me with your Star Platinum, and this girl's pathetic life ends right here and now! But you would never allow such an innocent child to die, would you?
Oh, good grief. Go ahead and stab me then.
Huh? Hey now, did you not hear me? I just told you not to... I told you not to move.
What's the matter? Didn't you say something about stabbing me? Like this, right?
My body won't move! Why? What is this thing wrapped around me?
I see you didn't notice. As your stand was trying to make its escape, Kakyoin tied Hierophant's tentacle to its leg. And seeing as those tentacles stretch all the way back to your stand like a string to a kite, you must have been so self-absorbed you didn't even notice.
Please, I'm begging you, forgive me!
Ask for forgiveness from Enyaba, the woman you killed. But as for me, I never had the slightest intention of forgiving you.
Dio paid me to cause this madness. You can have it all!
Good grief. I know this is blatantly obvious, but you really are a piece of work. What you owe me.
You can never repay back with money!
Receipt. You can keep the freaking change.
Thank you, Raytheon, for that ad.
So good, yeah. It went down smooth. Really hit the spot.
Yeah, we love our corporate sponsors, and thanks so much to Zach for joining us as well.
Yeah.
That was a wonderful time. We really appreciate you coming on and trying to learn what the hell our brains are about.
And we still don't know. I was kind of hoping he would tell us. I thought he would figure it out by the end, and well, we're still a mystery.
Yeah.
But what
However,
isn't a mystery is the next album we're going to be talking about, which is the name of it is the album that
it's
of name
Nikki.
Which
Nikki, before we start,
okay, what?
I have something to admit to you.
Oh, what? What's up?
In kind of like ever since last episode, I've been delving into our friend Skunk.
Oh yeah, the missile consultant guy.
Yeah, I've been
lead guitarist, missile consultant.
I've been doing a lot of dives into his personal life
Uh-huh.
and what he's done and the things that I guess
the kind of blood on his hands.
Yeah, the kind of blood on his hands and the kind of people he's killed. I don't know anything about the people he's killed.
Allegedly.
Please, Skunk.
Please, for the love of
God. So I wanted to kind of bring another Skunk anecdote before we started Katy.
Okay, yeah, no, I think that's he just left the band after Pretzel Logic, so let's check in on him. What's he up to?
Yeah, welcome to Skunk Corner.
Skunk Corner! Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have a theme song for that unless somebody wants to do a Skunk Corner theme song. Just let me know.
All right.
So I have a story about skunk that is probably the most 1970s. I think we talked about this a lot last episode, where it was just easy for people to do things back in the 70s or 80s.
Yeah, you kind of just could. Yeah, you could also just get away with stuff too. Honestly.
Yeah, you kind of floated into like being a millionaire or whatever, what the fuck ever.
I feel like the 60s was kind of the last time you could move states and disappear if you wanted to.
Yeah,
like you could just like, oh, I'm wanted in California, better move to Ohio and change my name and nothing else about my face or anything, and you could get away with that.
That's what DB Cooper did, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway. Skunk has on his website, because I was initially looking for contact information for Skunk, so maybe we could get him on this show.
God, that would be so fucking cool.
I don't think it's going to happen because he's got a lot. He's got a guy who manages his appearances. His appearance fee is probably insane, and he's probably going to have heard the bits about Skunk.
Well, he could show up for free. He's got the money.
But yeah, on his website he's got a stories page on his website where he explains insane shit that's happened to him. And here's one about the creation of maybe one of my favorite songs of the 20th century, Donna Summer's Bad Girls.
Oh, okay. He's got a story about that.
He was a session guitarist in the recording of Bad Girls.
Oh.
So, a popular session guitarist, Skunk received a phone call for an emergency session with Donna Summer when another guitarist wasn't available. Summer was already in the studio. Like, she was in the booth right there.
And when Donna Summer's in the booth, she's in the fucking booth.
She's in the fucking zone. Skunk didn't have time to go home for a guitar. This is the most maybe specific Hollywood story I've ever heard.
Okay.
Because I have an idea of where the studio might be and I have the idea of where he went. He stopped at Guitar Center. It was if he was in LA, it was probably the Hollywood Guitar Center where he just fucking showed up.
Just showed up.
He bought a $25 used electric guitar and a new set of strings, rushed off to the studio. He heard the arrangement once. He suggested they step it up a bit, and the result was the always recognized riffs at the beginning of the song.
That's him?
That's him. That's
I know that
Skunk.
song. Wow. Okay, I don't know that that's entirely just it was easy to do things in the 60s, because, I mean, he was just that good of a guitarist that he could be like, hear the arrangement once and then do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he did...
Maybe this is embellished on Skunk's part. Maybe a little bit.
You think a little bit?
But also, like, I trust Skunk. Do you trust a guy named Skunk?
Well, a little.
Yeah, but you know who would lie is fucking Katy.
God, I'm so glad they're finally addressing her lies.
Finally. Her
That
reign
bitch.
of terror is over.
This is the first album after they fired Skunk and all the others. I don't think... Well, they didn't fire them. They were just...
We're living in a post-Skunk world.
Yeah, I don't know. I tried to see if this was like a contentious split, but it doesn't seem like it. It just kind of seemed like everyone like understood that it was happening and kind of just accepted it.
From what I heard, it was about, like touring schedules and stuff like that.
Right. It was also that. It was just like touring, and also just they Steely and Dan specifically just didn't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, it seems like it's kind of analogous to when the Beatles stopped touring and, they went in and they started being a studio only.
When did they do that?
That was around Revolver, I believe. Revolver or Sgt. Pepper was the first one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's when they did not tour except for that that rooftop concert that one time. And did you ever see the 6-hour Peter Jackson documentary?
What do you think the answer to that is?
Hell no.
Exactly.
So, in that documentary, they're doing that concert. And I'm sorry, we'll get to Katy Lied in a second, but I feel like I need to explain to you the most British reaction to anything I've ever seen in my life.
We're still in Skunk Corner, so anything goes. So don't worry. Yeah.
They're playing the rooftop concert, and they cut to film, from the ground, asking people, "Hey, do you know the Beatles are playing up there?" And every single person is like, "Oh, that's the Beatles. Oh, well, they're making an awful lot of noise." And that is every single interview they have.
They aren't like, wow, this is the Beatles' last concert, or...
The interviewers are like, "Hey, the Beatles are up playing on that fucking roof live for you for the first time in years."
They have toured in years, and they're just, like, on a roof playing. Are you excited? And they're like, yeah, sure, that seems neat.
No, they're just like, "Oh, okay, cool, whatever."
What? Even me, noted Beatles hater, would be like, oh, well, okay, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, they're playing on a roof. One of them could jump.
Kind of cool. Yeah, let's see how Ringo could fly.
He can, by the way.
No, he cannot. So, is that Skunk Corner?
Yeah, that was Skunk Corner long ago once I started talking about Katy Lied.
No, the Beatles was also part of it.
Oh, well, I mean, anything is Skunk Corner.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about Katy Lied. I have slightly more to say about this album, but first we got to talk about Black Friday.
Black Friday. This is about the stock market crash of 1929, which is great because they're not writing about Bard anymore.
Yeah, thank fucking God.
Yeah, because I was starting to... I don't know if my anger was palpable in the first half of the episode.
No, you were kind of getting sick of it, huh?
Yeah, I'm sick of Bard College, and I never want to hear about Bard College ever again.
Maybe write a different thing, yeah.
And I'm sorry if you went to Bard College. Like, this is not, like, on you.
Again, the episode of this or the title of this episode should be "I'm not being a hater," but like I'm not being a hater, but fuck you if you've ever been to Bard College.
Fuck you if you've ever attended Bard. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm glad they're finally writing about other things, and I kind of like this song.
I thought it was weird that they would write a song about people trampling each other in a Best Buy to get a good deal on a flat screen TV, but I thought it was a good song. Yeah.
Yeah, the Wii wouldn't be invented for another 30 years, but it's in the lyrics.
They predicted it.
Yeah.
So this is kind of indicative of the whole album, my reaction to this song, which is it didn't grab me at all at first, or the second listen, or the third listen.
Okay.
But then I caught myself having it stuck in my head. So I gave it a fourth and fifth and sixth listen, and I think I like this album and this song now.
Oh, so you went through it?
Yeah, it was really weird. We didn't get into it when Zach was on because I was just fascinated to hear about how much he is a hater, no matter how much he protested. Big time hater. It. No, I did get into it, but I the first the whole past week, this is basically all what I've mainly been listening to because I'm just trying to get into it, trying to get into the Dan.
Yeah, we're all trying to become Dan fans. We're all trying to, force ourselves to submit.
Yeah, it's accept the inevitable. And I liked Pretzel Logic at first and didn't like Katy Lied.
Yeah.
And then they the more I listened to both of them, my opinions of them swapped. You
know what? Yeah, same. Initially I was like, I like Pretzel Logic.
Right, yeah, because it was accessible and poppy and
then I was like, wait, I kind of don't. Katy Lied initially, I was like, I don't know about this. This seems kind of murky, and then it changed once I saw Pretzel Logic in context with Katy Lied.
Oh yeah, for sure. Listening to them back to back definitely helped me. Because I think the first day I listened to one album, then the next day the other, but it didn't work. And then I listened to it back to back, and I was like, oh okay, no, Pretzel Logic is the not great one.
Yeah, I have some really good trivia about this album.
Yeah, do you?
Yeah, so Steely and Dan apparently were dissatisfied with the album's sound quality because of an equipment malfunction with the then new DBX noise reduction system. The group claimed that the damage was mostly repaired after consulting with the engineers at DBX, but apparently Steely and Dan have still refused to listen to the completed album. I think it sounds fine.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
They've never heard Katy Lied?
I think
they made it, bro.
I think they made it, but they haven't heard the final mix because...
No, I know, that's wild.
Yeah.
They're so I mean, wow. You can tell this album, I mentioned this with Pretzel Logic, but it's just extremely more so with this one. You can tell that production was more important.
Right.
And I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. I just think that is what happened.
I feel if there was too much noise in a recording, I wouldn't be I'm not listening to that ever. I'd be I paid for this.
Yeah, it didn't seem that particularly noisy to me.
No.
And if it was that bad, just fucking re-record it. I don't know.
Also, maybe we were listening to a remaster or something that had
Oh, because they have, guess who's remastering the Steely Dan albums? It's Steely Dan. So that actually might be true.
I'm assuming it's possible that the first version of the album sounds like a wind tunnel. It sounds like it's being recorded from very far away.
I don't think it's that
possible
bad.
That maybe. a lot of reviews from the 70s seem to classify it as an album that was recorded on the other side. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh. I was gonna say, yeah. I like this. I like this song. I'm gonna dig myself a hole, gonna lay down in it till I satisfy my soul. One of the most relatable bits of lyricism in any song I've ever heard.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That is my shit right there.
Also, you can tell, like they're doing more on his vocals with effects. Like they're actually putting effects on his vocals.
Yes.
I don't think they really ever did that. Like they
No.
put reverb, but like there's like a there's got some weird echoey stuff in the verses that are cool.
I really like the way that they're starting to I guess experiment in the studio.
Well, especially because this one they didn't have a band to hold back. Not hold
Yeah,
back.
it's just
That's not
Steely
the
and
wrong-
Dan and a bunch
yeah.
of guys they got off Craigslist from the 70s.
I wouldn't say Craigslist.
Off 70s Craigslist.
Sure. What do you think about Bad Sneakers?
Bad Sneakers has fucking Michael McDonald.
Yes, it does. Michael McDonald. I'm gone insane. How's that part go?
It's me, Michael McDonald, and I'm playing
Michael
at a racetrack. I'm in the doobies.
Yeah, he does some fucking stellar work in the backup vocals. Is this the first appearance of Michael McDonald and Steely Dan?
I'm pretty sure it's the
Song.
first appearance of Michael McDonald.
Wow,
on Steely.
welcome to the Dan, Michael.
Welcome, Michael McDonald, to the Resistance.
So I like Black Friday, but I was listening to it and I was like, okay, fellas, I know you got the rock down. Do you still have that jazz?
And they still have the jazz.
And it's in Bad Sneakers, they still have that jazz.
After getting rid of it for Pretzel Logic and not having any jazz, or it's the
jazz,
sound,
but no.
the sound of a completely swagless band on Pretzel Logic.
Yeah. I thought it was a catchy verse, and then the chorus didn't work for me until like a bunch of listens in, and I was just kind of like, I kind of like that actually. It's like short, it's that funny run of notes in a vocal melody that you don't. It's just a weird sounding chorus,
Yeah.
but in a good way. I want to talk about the breakdown, like the instrumental breakdown with the solo and everything. Can I tell you something about it?
Yeah, tell me about it.
I kind of understand what Zach was saying about just kind of like. I'm trying to put this into words. Again, I'm not trying to be a hater, but the instrumental breakdown in this felt kind of perfunctory.
You know what? Yeah.
Like there's it feels like sometimes they have like a formula of like, not a formula, it seems a little harsh. They are like, well, we got to have a breakdown somewhere and there's got to be a solo. Sometimes they just don't have one, but like sometimes it kind of feels like, well, we got to have one.
Yeah, it feels like they're checking things off a list sometimes.
Like the breakdown in this was perfectly good, but it did feel a little bit like, okay, we've got the solo, we could go back to the verse. Okay, great. Just a little bit.
Yeah, 100%.
Just a little bit.
Ooh, just a little bit.
Yeah. So, but I like it. It's a good song.
Yeah.
What about Rose Darling?
Rose Darling is... I feel like I would be friends with the character named Rose Darling in this.
Yeah.
And also the character Snake Mary.
Oh, I want to know Snake Mary.
This is very... I don't know why this song reminds me of the Garbage Pail Kids so much.
I don't know, Rose Darling.
Which is,
Mary?
I guess, me saying that I don't have a lot to say about Rose Darling. I just like the song.
I like it. I don't have a whole lot to say either. I think it's fine. I like it. There's a little goofy sounding. Steely is. I like when he starts to get a little goofy. He sounds like I thought in this song in Rose Darling, he sounds like a cross between Bob Dylan and John Linnell.
He does.
Like,
I mean, I have no frame of reference for Linnell
like
right
nasally. He's like pretty nasally in this one, and he's got like kind of weird inflections that he grabs from his throat.
Yeah, I mean, picking up something good, season 3 coming soon, but I have no... yeah, okay, thank you for explaining Linnell to me.
Trust me on this one, yeah. No, so the weird throaty bits, that's Bob Dylan, but the singing from the nasal, that's John Linnell.
Yeah, okay.
The instrumental bit before the chorus is so catchy,
Extremely so, yes.
I wish that went on for longer, because I don't like the chorus.
The chorus is not the best that I've heard.
It sucks.
I'm trying to be nice. It's not the best.
No,
that
the
I've
chorus
heard.
lays it on really thick. It just doesn't work. It's not as bad as how much the bridge to Barrytown fucking ruined Barrytown for me.
Oh my god, fucking Barrytown.
Like but it doesn't quite ruin the whole thing. But I'm just kind of like, all right. But this chorus is also not that long. A lot of quick choruses on this album. You noticed
a lot of quick choruses on the entire Steely Dan situation after Pretzel Logic and later.
Yeah, and I also think the guitar solo in Rose Darling also slightly like, okay, well, you do the solo now, I guess. Just a little bit. I'm hoping we're not sounding too harsh, because I do like a lot of this.
No. I don't think we're coming off as bad as the Weatherhouse episode.
Oh, God. Poor Phil.
That was so mean, and I honestly just remembered. Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, that's about it for Rose Darling.
Yeah, Rose Darling. It's I get like big Huckleberry Hound vibes from Rose Darling.
Yeah.
much like me in 2017. I'm daddy here. I don't live in that New York City no more.
That's right, you don't. Except you're not exactly like the daddy in this song, because, Maze.
Yes.
We got another loser song.
Oh my god, Daddy's such a fucking loser.
This is an incredible addition to the pantheon of Steely Dan loser songs.
This is a divorced man.
This is a dead divorced man. Did you pick up on that? He's dead.
I did not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the daddy in Daddy Don't Live in New York City No More, the reason he doesn't live in New York City no more, nor does he drive his El Dorado no more, or can't smoke cigars, I think he's dead. I think that's what the song is about.
Do you think that Steely Dan would write a song about a dead guy?
They did, yeah, Charlie Freak.
Oh, that's true. Fair.
We just reviewed it.
You
were really annoyed about how the song was about a guy dying.
Okay, I was really annoyed because I thought it was a fucking Bard guy. Anyway,
yeah, that's true. Oh, right.
It makes sense that he's dead. This is like maybe leading up to the quintessential loser song on Asia.
Oh yeah, it's leading up. It's leading up to it.
We're getting bigger and bigger losers. This guy, I would not want to hang out with him. He's kind of an asshole. The other losers, I really had no opinion on them.
I had a little bit of empathy for some of them, but this guy is just kind of like, all right, man, you made your, come on.
He drives like a fool out to Hackensack, and he drinks his dinner from a paper sack.
He says, I gotta see a Joker, and I'll be right back. He's going to see Jokers?
Yeah,
this dude's going to New Jersey to meet. He's meeting New Jersey Jokers, Mace. Those, I mean,
the Impractical Jokers?
No, even worse. Like we're talking, like the Gotham City Joker gets a lot of press for being a Joker, but those Hackensack Jokers, you don't fuck around with them.
They're fucking way worse. They're way worse.
They're so scary. The New Jersey Jokers. That'd be a good baseball team.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, he doesn't live there anymore, and I like the song. I don't mind it.
The verse that I think proves my theory that this is about a dead guy who sucked. No, Daddy can't find no cigar, but we know you're smoking wherever you are. He's in hell.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe it's like a tall tale, like a Paul Bunyan of drunk assholes.
Like he's like the drunkest of all the assholes, and it's just like, whoa, yeah, that's Daddy. Yeah.
And he still has like a blue goat or whatever Paul Bunyan had.
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Let's talk about Dr. Wu.
Yeah, can we talk about Dr. Wu, the like sort of title track of the album?
Sort of.
It's where Katy is from. In the titular Katy Lied. She also tried. We get that part of the story. She also tried.
She tried. She did her best. It looks like.
You were going to ask me a question. I bet it was important.
Is this song about drugs?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is 100% about like.
Yeah, it's a guy going through withdrawals.
Yeah, going through withdrawals. He's got like a weird fascination with Cuban people, which is great. Like that's me.
Yeah.
Like Cuban immigrants. I guess about.
He wants to go to Biscayne Bay. Yeah.
I've been to Biscayne Bay before. There's really nothing great in Biscayne Bay. There's like
gentlemen sleep all day. That's what he wants, though.
They don't though. There's like a mall there.
That's his idea of it, at least.
Actually, I don't think the mall had been built yet by the time that this song came out.
Oh, but... maybe not. Yeah, Katy tried. I was halfway crucified. I was on the other side of no tomorrow. You walked in, and my life began again. And that you is Wu.
Is Dr. Wu.
That's a real person, by the way. This is a song about a real man.
Yeah, do we know anything about Dr. Wu? Is Dr. Wu like a rehab doctor or what?
Yeah, so this is an actual guy.
Okay.
I don't know if this is, like, a purely biographical song, right? Like, I don't know if this is Steely, if Steely had the drug problem and he met Dr. Wu and was inspired to, you know, I don't know. But, I did check, Dr. Wu was a doctor. I'm trying to find I have like a million tabs open, because I've been going down so many Dan rabbit holes. Here it is. Okay. So, this is he passed away in 2002. So this is from his obituary. Jing Wu, OMD, noted leader in traditional Chinese medicine in the Washington, D.C. area, passed away in 2002. He's well known for his pioneering leadership in acupuncture and herbal medicine in the capital area, and for helping a broad spectrum of patients, from those with drug addictions to terminal illnesses, to prominent politicians and celebrities.
Oh.
He was born in China, immigrated as a small child. He went back to Hong Kong to study Chinese philosophy and healing. He got a degree at Hong Kong. He came back to Washington, D.C., and then Steely Dan named a song after him in 1975.
Yeah, so he's drug addiction guy to the stars.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that's how Steely knows about him.
Yeah.
Which is, I sort of, I didn't like it, and then I read that it was about a real person, so it kind of gave me, like, a little bit of, like, okay, I'll, like, give it another chance. That's kind of interesting.
Right.
Again, I don't really like the chorus.
I feel like they've got weak choruses right now. Like, their chorus game, I don't know if it was losing Skunk, or if it was losing...
Was it Jim?
Yeah, or, like, was it
because they
Steely
got
or Dan?
Denny.
Yeah, they got Denny.
You
Denny
can't put this on Denny.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can pin
Denny
this on
the Dog
Denny.
Diaz.
Yeah, right. I just think that the choruses are just not incredible.
They're just, it's a little bit, there's some weak choruses in these two albums. I like the verses though.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't I say the opposite about a bunch of Radiohead songs where it's like, yeah, the verses were okay, but then the chorus.
Yeah,
they have like an opposite problem.
I would say that Steely Dan and Radiohead are like the opposite of one another, like the exact
crazy.
opposite.
That's so
like
fucked up.
They're British, these guys are American. No.
Anyway, the sax solo in this though.
Oh,
ooh.
fuck yeah. I like me a good sax.
There's nothing perfunctory about that solo. That they did not phone that one in. That was pretty good.
Some of that sax and violins, that's good.
Oh god. Okay, we have to talk about the next song.
Yeah.
Everyone's gone to the movies. It is a combination calypso song / admission to crimes.
Of course. I am so surprised that it took Steely Dan 4 albums to start doing calypso.
I know.
It took them 4 to be like, calypso sounds groovy, y'all. It's 1975.
No more whiskey. How about we have a little bit of rum, eh, Dan? Oh, sounds good, Steely.
How about we go down to New Orleans and do some calypso?
I like the backing. I love the instrumental of this song a lot. God, what a good instrumental this song has.
However...
Then there's some other stuff.
Second line. This is likely a reference to Joseph Lepage, known as the French Monster, a convicted rapist, serial killer, and necrophile.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was about a specific pedophile. God, that is new information you've just told me. But it is clearly about a pedophile. I mean, this is, I mean, are we gonna, we probably will have to put a content warning for this.
Yeah.
Because this is kind of explicitly what the song is about, and I feel like it would be weird if we didn't talk about it. And it made me very uncomfortable listening to it. You can hear how I'm, like, uncomfortably laughing.
Yeah, it's a really...
Here's the thing.
Uncomfortable song, generally.
The first time I heard this song, the verse made my stomach hurt. And then the chorus kicks in, and I laugh so hard, I start crying. It turned the song around for me. Everyone's gone to the movies. Now we're alone at last. No, listen. Mace, you realize what this is, right? The verse is from the perspective of the kids being creeped upon. But the chorus is from the perspective of the parents of those children just happy that they're finally out of the house, which makes this a very, very darkly funny song.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, oh, yeah, everyone's gone to the movies, referencing Mr. LePage showing his movies in the den. Now we're alone at last. Like, it's the parents celebrate. That's why the chorus is this, like, celebrating, like, Calypso party. sounding
Jesus
kind of thing.
Christ.
It's this like really dark comedy.
Holy God.
Like Steely Dan is going for an extremely bitter chuckle with this one.
Yeah.
Do you think it works? I need your opinion on this.
I don't know that it works because I'm freaked out by it.
It's I mean, the way it is sung, they are not being subtle.
I think it's the backing track that like does this to me.
The come on, that sax that sounds like a mosquito is right by your ear.
Yeah,
really, really puts you off. And I mean, it's totally on purpose. I think it's genius. People are gonna, the Pizzagate people are gonna come after me for saying this, but I kind of like this song.
Oh my God.
Because it makes me viscerally upset. It makes me very uncomfortable. And it's very rare for a song to make me feel so strongly.
It's the song form of that name one thing in this photo meme.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah. Wait, the like weird, like AI generated like mush? That picture? Yeah, that's like, for some reason it's off-putting because it's like, I should be able to recognize these images, but I can't. Entirely
Off-putting, like your stomach hurts when you're looking at it.
You get kind of clammy.
Am I dying? Yeah.
It makes me feel exactly like that, which is I'm fascinated by it.
Exactly.
I think it's so...
I think now...
I keep thinking about listening to it, and I keep thinking about, like, QAnon people discovering the song and trying to, like, go after Steely Dan.
Oh, they fucking have.
Because, yeah, they won't understand that this is clearly not Steely Dan admitting to being pedophiles. Like, it's just so funny. I don't know.
Now is probably a good time to talk about the Achewood strip that you showed me earlier today.
Yeah, that's a good
that is it's the icon of our Twitter account, PUSG Pod right now. Which kind of it's related. And it's, Ray looking at a computer. Hey, yeah, this is Ray Smuckles over at Primetime. Yeah, I need a picture of the guys from Steely Dan where one of them is from America's Test Kitchen, and the other one has been interrupted from a phone call where he was trading Russian teenagers for diamonds.
Bleep. The picture appears on screen.
It's a picture of them too, and it does look like one of them is from America's Test Kitchen, and
Walter.
The other one was just doing trafficking.
Don, yes. He's got a vibe in that picture that is off-putting.
Yeah, and it is as off-putting as this song is to me.
Oh, man. I love that. Love that panel. Love that comic. Yeah, this song is deeply upsetting. Let's go to Your Gold Teeth 2. A sequel. They're writing a sequel.
Was there a Your Gold Teeth 1? Did I miss that?
Yeah, in fucking Countdown to Ecstasy, if I'm remembering correctly.
Really? There was a Your Gold Teeth 1?
Yeah, did you not? You don't remember?
Oh, yeah, there was a Your Gold Teeth 1. I just kind of let that song happen to me.
The first one?
Yeah. And much like the first one, I'd let the second one also just happen to me.
I will have to say that of the two Gold Teeth, I like the first one better.
I do. Same.
The intro to Gold Teeth 2 fucks. There's that cool synthesizer.
Yeah.
And then the vibe just, like, radically changes to, like, a, brush drum jazz kind of thing, which is
Gold
cool.
Teeth 2!
Yeah, they jump on stage, announce the Gold Teeth 2. Catchy verse, really annoying chorus. What is going on with these choruses, you guys?
They're not, they're just, like...
They're not really annoying. It's a little too, it's cloying. It's a little too sickly sweet, this chorus.
Right.
Take out your gold teeth and see how they roll. It's overproduced and it's making me not like it.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
But they're still working out the kinks here because this is the first is the first album where it's just Steely and Dan.
Yeah.
This is the first album where they just hired a bunch of guys off 1970s Craigslist.
They got a number of really, really interesting guys.
Off Craigslist, yeah.
I'm just gonna skip to the song because it made me fall asleep, and I don't have anything else to say about it. But any world that I'm part of, whatever the fuck it's called.
To.
Yeah, thank you. Hal Blaine of the Wrecking Crew is on drums on that track.
Really?
Yeah.
Hal Blaine?
Yeah, of the Wrecking Crew. Yeah.
And Jesus.
Yeah, for folks who are not familiar, I would recommend looking up the documentary The Wrecking Crew about a group of California session musicians that are, if you think about any popular song from 1960-something to 1980-something, one of them or a lot of them probably played on it.
Here, let me name a couple that Hal Blaine did.
Yeah, Hal Blaine, the drummer. Why are we freaking out that he's on this album?
Yeah,
What
and
other
that the
songs
song
has
he was
played
on was kind of mid. God Only Knows by the Beach Boys.
A lot of
Wouldn't
Beach
it be
Boys.
nice? Bridge Over Troubled Water, Good Vibrations, the Carpenter song Close to You, Be My Baby by the Ronettes, several Simon and Garfunkel songs.
Yeah, he worked with Beach Boys and Simon and Garfunkel a lot. Be My Baby is such.
Yeah.
The Ronettes. It's the Ronettes.
Sloop John B, my favorite song about a guy having a shitty time on a boat.
It's so good.
Mamas and the Papas, Dream a Little Dream of Me. California Girls, not the Katy Perry song, but the Beach Boys song.
Boys.
Fucking A drummer, one of the greatest drummers of all time, and he's on this.
Yeah. So, they got some good guys.
Yeah.
They really knew, like, Steely and Dan can really put together a band.
Right.
I skipped over Chain Lightning because I also kind of don't like that one.
It's
kind of boomer to me.
It's very boomery. You know what? And I don't want to be a hater, but there is just like some undercurrent running through these two Steely Dan records, where before they made their big pivot, it felt like they were just kind of stagnating a little bit. They had some good like, gold nuggets.
Yeah,
but
like there's a reason I paired these two albums together for this episode. There are moments that are incredible and are very like, yep, they still got it.
Yeah, they're very high highs and low lows.
Really
basically.
low lows.
And it's before they made their big pivot, they did not. They were just going into the same hole of making the same song over and over again.
Yeah, like Chain Lightning is kind of the pinnacle of that, because it's the whole song is the same bar, one bar phrase repeated.
Yeah.
That's it, the whole song. That's the only verse. There's no chorus.
No chorus at all.
Because they figured, well, we're not really doing a lot of those really good, so let's just not do one. Yeah. I think the lyrics are good. Like, lyrically, they always have something. So I'll give them that. Like, this, Chain Lightning is just kind of a funny... Like, I think the reason it sounds like a boomer rock kind of vibe is that it's making fun of, like, the boomer conformity mentality of, like, not wanting to rock the boat and, like, oh, I'm just like anyone else, you see? I'm not unique. Don't worry about me.
Yeah.
So I think it was on purpose the way that it is. They're exploring a specific... They keep going back to specific bits of old Americana in music that are so far removed from... Right. Maybe that's why Zach laughs at them.
You know what? And that makes sense.
Yeah, because the kind of music that they were heavily influenced by is a lot of old school, like 30s, 40s, 50s, jazz, R&B, like early stuff. And so sometimes when they dip back into that well, to us, we hear that and go, that's like from a cartoon. What is this? I wonder if that's part of it.
And it makes us say things like, this is show tunes ass music.
Yeah, like, because
It's like, okay, Chain Lightning and Any World, both of those, to me, they're kind of like...
Any World is a fucking show-ass tune. That's why I don't like it. It sounds like it's from a musical.
It does sound like it's from a musical. The lyrics are just...
Talking about any world! Like, stop. Okay. Stop it.
It sounds like a song... It sounds like a song that was written for a Epcot pavilion in the 1980s.
Talking about a world. Stop. That part pissed me off. Talking about a world. That's not Dan.
Yeah.
That's not Steely Dan.
Yeah.
It's not.
That's not him.
It's not
we should throw back the little ones, though.
I love this song.
This is good. They entered a good... Yeah.
Oh, man. The second half of this one. A lot of... It was a roller coaster, but they saved it.
Holy shit, yeah. They, like...
Oh my god, this song is so good.
They put the mid ones down, but then they, like, came back.
They came back with it. I love this fucking song. Little vignettes, each verse. This is my interpretation of it. I keep giving you my interpretations as if it's the one thing, but I don't know. This is what I'm picking up. But I read it as like each verse is kind of showcasing a different kind of like manipulative person, and then the chorus is just kind of reinforcing the theme. I think it's very catchy. I had to look up what "walks like an engine" meant. Unfortunately, Steely, you're going problematic fave on me again.
It was 1975.
Yeah. Apparently, it's an old-timey slang phrase for walking around barefoot. So you could have just said that, Steely, but okay. Anyway, not really an issue. I just had to look that up.
And then talk about dancing in place and painting his face.
He's extending the metaphor there in a way that's just like, all right, man.
Yeah, calm down.
So, okay, but musically, really, really good song.
Wonderful. Almost pristine.
Very jazz. Very fucking jazz. Very Dan. Like, this is Dan.
This is full Dan.
This is full Dan. And a really good way to end it, because it really could have ended on a sour note for me, but I really feel like this, the way it ended the first listen, because I really didn't like the first listen. But I did like this one even from the first listen. So I think it's really lucky that I liked it because it made me want to go back. So I did. Right. And I liked it. What do you think?
Yeah,
Anything
it's a good time. It's a good ending. It's a pick-me-up after, a kind of mid-second half.
Yeah. So, yeah, are you picking up something good with Katy Lied?
I'm picking up something that could have been an EP.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I don't know if the artists were into releasing EPs back then, but I could have been.
I like that I only release EPs, and that's Steely Dan would be like baffled by that, I think.
Yeah, Steely and Dan would be like, "What?
4 tracks at a time? Wait, come on.
You don't put the bad ones on there too?"
I will say that's true. Like, these 2 albums were pretty short. They were both like 35 minutes, right?
This could have been an EP, yeah.
Pretzel logic, yeah, maybe. Can't Buy a Thrill was 41 minutes.
Yeah.
Countdown to Ecstasy was 41 minutes. Yeah, it was just like a little bit shorter.
Right.
And Pretzel Logic had East St. Louis Toodaloo, which seemed like kind of a gimme. So, like, it was like 30 minutes. Anyway,
East St. Louis Toodaloo felt like cheating.
They did it well, but, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I'm picking up something pretty good with Katy Lied. With, like, a question mark at the end, the way I did that.
Same.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me not want to continue.
No, because we're on this road for, the rest of December.
Yeah.
We're on STEELY DANCEMBER all month.
We're on the train tracks, baby. This mine cart is going down.
And I think at this point Fagin and the other guy have tied us to the train tracks with these 2.
Like old-timey cartoon villains twirling their mustache and tying us to trail tracks. Rail tracks. Whatever. I can't even talk anymore. Let's end this episode.
Let's end the episode. Nikki? You're Nikki, right?
I think. Yeah, I'm Nikki Flowers. This has been a limited event prestige podcast episode of Picking Up Something Good, Steely Dancember, Part 2, The Reckoning. This time,
Revengeance.
It's personal. Revengeance, right. I'm Nikki Flowers. I'm your host, one of them, at least, and I play music as Nikki Flowers. It's true. You can check it. If you don't believe me, go to nikkiFlowers.bandcamp.com and give me $10, or I'll bite you in the leg. I have also developed a video game for the Game Boy. It's called Yori Skeleton, and that is not a problem. And that is a problem. Sorry, it is a problem. I can't talk anymore because it's the end of the episode. Google it. You'll probably find it. Maze, take over.
Hi, my name is Mace. I play music as Echo Vessel. I am working on an album. It's called Cartoon. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is.
You can find me on Twitter at Echo Vessel, or on Instagram at Echo3Os Vessel. I've been doing a countdown to Avatar: The Way of Water every day for the past 266 days.
Where we at today?
We're
as of
5
recording?
days today. Nikki, you were shouted out in the 5th day.
I was very excited about that.
Tomorrow will be 4 days. I have a ticket on Thursday to go see Avatar in Dolby Cinema 3D.
And I'm just waiting for a cam rip to hit the pirate bays and whatnot. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm not going to a fucking theater.
Yeah, everybody has Avatar fever. I have forced Avatar fever upon every single one of my friends.
Yeah.
Nikki and I run a label called Neodetritus. It's very cool. We're going to be launching a radio station in earnest soon.
I'm not laughing at that. I'm very proud that we're doing that and very excited. But I'm laughing because you plugged Avatar before our radio station
and record label.
Okay, that's fine.
Nikki and I also have another podcast. It's called And Also With You. It's a really limited podcast about Star Wars.
Extremely limited event. We do one episode a year on May 4th. That's coming up. That's going to be quicker than you think that's happening. So, subscribe now.
Or forever hold your peace.
Thank you. Yes. God, that should be the outro. That should be part of the outro of that show.
Fuck, yeah. That's really good.
Okay.
Write that down.
Okay.
Thanks to Zach for coming on the first half of the episode.
Yeah, thank you to Zach Emerson. Check out every single album that's ever been put out on Doom Trip Records. They're all incredible.
Doom Trip rocks, straight up.
Like, I'm not even joking. They're all incredible, and the mixes are always stellar.
Hell yeah.
So, next episode, we will be talking about the Royal Scam, plus
and
some other stuff.
Yeah, odds and ends. If you have any questions for us, if you have anything that you'd like us to check out, if you're a more experienced Dan fan and you're like screaming at your podcatcher, you're screaming in your car alone, being like, "Oh, cover this! I hope you die." You can just at us, at PUSGpod on Twitter.
Yep.
And let us know, and we can cover it in the next episode because, we're only doing
open to feedback.
Yeah, we're only doing one episode next week. Sorry, one album next week because it is we're kind of saving up for Asia and Gaucho.
They got to be in one episode, and it's going to be a doozy. You think these 2-hour-long episodes that we keep saying we're not going to record, and then we end up doing so? Think these are long? Oh boy.
Yeah,
Asia and Gaucho are going to be huge.
We might end up doing 4, 6, 10 hours on that.
The first 24-hour-long episode. No, that's not true. There's probably a podcast that's done that before.
Probably one. It's like a Bull in Heaven podcast. Anyway.
Yes, let's end it there. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll steely you when you Dan.
We'll do happy Dancember. We'll steely when you Gaucho.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That worked.